What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Survival Guide, and we're returning to the 2023 album Death Dreams. Shout out to Emily and to Michaela and others who've been following this particular playlist, as well as Kim. And yes, the next track is Don't Feel Bad, which sounds like a sympathetic remark to someone who may have either made an error or suffered a setback or been hurt in some way. But it's an encouraging phrase on the surface. Now, in practice, it might be more nuanced or complicated than that, but yes, it sounds like someone reaching out to provide relief or to give face, as they say, which is further to say, if you make a mistake and you try to make it seem like it's not so bad, that's usually regarded as saving face. But when you provide that cover for someone else, usually that's termed giving face. So yes, it sounds like someone who's trying to be sympathetic and helpful to someone who's in a bad way. But as I said, maybe the narrative will prove more complicated. I'll try to catch what I can. This is Survival Guide. The track is Don't Feel Bad from Death Dreams 2023. Butterfly. So number one, I enjoy the sonics of this a lot, especially like the verses and that intro. It really had this throwback 80s synth-pop type of style, like right out of the gate. And then again, in the verses, the choruses were a bit busier, and I was really trying to key in on the lyrics because the lyrics were a bit harder to catch in the verses. Although the idea that don't feel bad, he hates everything and everyone anyway, I could hear that. It was a line after that, it was like, especially men, it was especially something, but I couldn't hear that word clearly, and obviously that's like a crucial element. But I'm still wondering if there's actually three people involved here, like if she's talking to a woman and then saying like, you know, the he that hates everything and everyone is like a third person who maybe the person she's addressing tried to date and it didn't work out. But then there's the idea of like you, meaning the person she's directly addressing, took advantage of the chances that she gave. Now, the took advantage of, you could take that a couple different ways. You could say like, oh, here, I'm giving you a chance, and you took advantage of it. You utilized it, you did something good with it. But then you could also read it a bit more critically or negatively, the idea that I gave you this chance, but then you tried to do something, you know, not in line with what I was thinking, or you tried to take advantage of me in the process where, you know, I extended an olive branch, or I, you know, made it so that you could do something, but then what you did was, you know, problematic or hurtful or difficult for the person who's giving the chance, the narrator. So I didn't quite know how to take that line. And what was it like? The second became the seventh or something, suggesting maybe that, you know, it's the never before is what you swore the last time. So, you know, 2 turned to 3, turned to 4, 5, 6, 7, and thus there's this cycle of like, I gave you a chance, you didn't, you know, you ended up doing the same thing again. I gave you another chance, you ended up doing the same thing again. So it feels like maybe there's criticism headed toward the person directly addressed and the guy who maybe is a third party. So I don't quite know how it all stitches together narratively or thematically, but absolutely enjoyed the 80s kind of throwback synth-pop sonics. I enjoy her voice always, and this is another one where I feel like in the verses especially, like it just has this great quality. As I said, in the chorus, there was nothing wrong with it, but I was like really trying to key in on it, and because there was more sonic intensity in the chorus, I wasn't quite like, you know, I was trying to catch the lines more than appreciating the vocals. Nevertheless, I really enjoyed the tune, and as I said, I enjoyed that like fluttering butterfly type melodic line in the latter stages of the track. So yeah, another really cool tune. I've absolutely loved this album. We're almost to the end. There's 2 more. The next one is Stay Dead, which is a hilarious title, and then we'll finish with I'll Picture You, which sounds like a vision in the absence of presence or proximity. So I'll think more about those when we get to them, but yes, very happy with this album. Once again, shout out to Emily as well as to those who've been following this journey. Do let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.